Afternoon. Happy Black History Month, by the way. It's February 1st, y'all. Welcome to Kenosha's African American Read-In. This is the 36th annual time. We've done this for 36 years, y'all. That's incredible. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for showing up. It's a pretty nice day out, I want to say. Wouldn't say it's perfect, but got a pretty good going on here. So, we're actually going to go ahead and get this show on the road. First up, I'd like Doug to come on up representing the museum. Doug, where are you at? There you are.
Thanks, Xander. Hello, everybody. My name is Doug Dahman, and I'm the curator and site coordinator at the Civil War Museum here in Kenosha. It's my distinct honor and privilege to represent the staff, the board members, and the volunteers of the Kenosha Public Museums, and welcome you to the 36th Annual African American Read-In. We're so happy that you are here and are very excited to meet today's readers and listen to their selections. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the other members of the Read-In Planning Committee for their hard work and commitment to this event. Community members represent the following organizations: the Kenosha Public Library, the Kenosha Literacy Council, the American Association of University Women, the Coalition for Dismantling Racism, Kenosha Community Media, and the Kenosha Public Museums. The committee has been meeting and planning for this day since last October, I think was our first meeting. So we're all excited to be here today to see the fruits of that labor and all of those different meetings. I'd also like to acknowledge our greeters today from the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and as Fran and I always talk about, the most important part, the delicious cookies provided by the American Association of University Women. So please. If there are any left over, I just got to take them home. So, please take them with you. This year's African American Read-In is partly dedicated to the memory of Ms. Catherine Marks. I got to know Catherine through her work with the Civil War Museum and her leadership of the Kenosha Parks Alliance. At our Parks Alliance meetings, Catherine was always thoughtful, tough, energetic, and caring. She was a wonderful advocate for our local community organizations, parks, and constantly encouraged those in the meetings to communicate and work together on programs and events that enhanced and brought out the best in the local Kenosha community. But what really stood out to me when I interacted with Catherine was how much she cared for the Kenosha community. She loved this city and worked hard to be an advocate for it. Though she's no longer with us, her legacy lives on in the continued good work done by the organizations she led and participated in. Again, thank you all for attending today's event and for your continued support of community literacy and the African American Read-In. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Doug. You know what? I always keep forgetting to introduce myself. My name is Xander. I'm with the Kenosha Public Library. I'm going to be leading us through the rest of today's events. Thank you. When I started at the library 5 years ago, and one of the things I was told I should do was meet with Catherine Marks. And unfortunately, I never had that opportunity. It's one of my regrets that I never got to meet such a wonderful community leader. Now, to take us through the community sing, I'm going to bring up Tamara Coleman.
Good afternoon, everyone. So in the spirit of collaboration, because if you know me, you know I love to collaborate, everyone's going to stand to their feet. Now, I don't know why they didn't put the words in here, but we've sung this enough as a community that we're going to sing it together, right? Right? I heard our county exec say, right? All right. So we're going to sing together. This will be no solo. Right? All right. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring.
Thank you so much. You know, I'll get up on here with the podium, but I ain't gonna get up here and sing. So you know you got it. Thank you, Tamara. Next up, we have some proclamations and also some readings. So first, I'm gonna bring up David McCall, which you know, our mayor for the city of Kenosha, just so you can know.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Kenosha Public Museum. I think it's only fitting, and I think a well worth tribute that this event today is in memory of someone I worked with, someone I knew very, very, very well, someone that was not bashful about telling me when I was wrong, but also not bashful to say, you know what, you did something really good there. That was a good thing. And when I think about all the things that this read-in means to our young people, that means to the city, that means to this community, I think it's only fitting, given all of the hard work and all of the dedication to all the various different organizations that she championed for many, many years. As I think if she was here today, she would be extraordinarily proud of all the work that has gone on, and we will continue to do. And we will work even harder, probably because she would be chirping in her ear, you're not working hard enough. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to do that, and I'm just proud to walk in her footsteps and be a part of this celebration here and continue on today. So I do have a proclamation. Whereas the National African American Read-In is the nation's first and oldest event dedicated to diversity in literature, established in 1990 by the Black Caucus of the National Council of Teachers of English, to make literacy a significant part of Black History Month. And whereas the African American Read-In celebrates and promotes the appreciation of African American literature, authors, and the rich cultural heritage of written word in the African American community. And whereas this initiative reached more than 6 million participants around the world, bringing together readers of all backgrounds to highlight the literacy contributions of African American writers. And whereas the city of Kenosha recognizes the importance of promoting literacy, cultural understanding, and educational opportunities that celebrate the diverse voices within our community. And whereas the African American Read-In provides an opportunity for our community to come together, share stories, and foster a deeper appreciation for African American literature and its profound impact on the American culture. And whereas these events support local libraries, schools, community organizations, and their efforts to promote literacy and cultural awareness while inspiring future generations of readers and writers. And now, therefore, I, David F. Bogdell, Mayor of the City of Kenosha, do hereby proclaim Saturday, February 1st, 2025, National American Read-In Days, National African American Read-In Days in the City of Kenosha, and encourage all residents to participate in this meaningful celebration of African American literature and culture through reading, discussion, and community engagement. I did want to read just two quick things. I won't take up everybody's time because I know we've got some outstanding readers and I know they're getting excited to come up here and read. And I don't want to take too much of that time, but I do want to offer from, I had my fourth grade teacher in grammar school was a wonderful lady, Mary Phillips. And that was the first time that I had ever experienced Black History Month. And she was a constant advocate for that and learning about various writers, culture, history. She was an amazing lady. And one of her favorite poets was Langston Hughes. And I remember her reading this to me even in fourth grade. America is a dream. The poet says it has promises. The people say it is promises that will come true. The people do not always say things out loud, nor write them down on paper. The people often hold great thoughts in their deepest hearts, and sometimes only blunderingly express them, haltingly and stumbling say them, which I do a lot, and faultingly put them into practice. The people do not always understand each other, but there is, somewhere there, always the trying to understand and the trying to say, you're a man, together we are building our land. And one other thing I will leave you with is from a great American jazz singer who is someone that my wife and I often, it was one of our first dances when we got married, was to Louis Armstrong. And just, I'm going to read something that he had said, but often the song, "We Have All the Time in the World." And it's one of our favorite songs that we actually dance to at our wedding. We often play it now. I often sometimes will remind her when things are looking gloom or we're having a bad day, that I remind her, I will send her a quote and say, "Honey, we have all the time in the world." It seems to me it ain't the world that's so bad, but what we're doing to it. And all I'm saying is, see what a wonderful world it would be if only we give it a chance. Love, baby, love. That's the secret. Thank you all very much. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next up, we're bringing up our Kenosha County Executive, Samantha Kirkman. And I'm also going to bring up another special guest to join her. Allison, where are you at?
She's over here.
All
We're gonna
right.
tag team it together. Awesome. Well, Mara, I didn't realize you had a hidden talent.
I don't.
Again, you learn something new every time you go to an event. And again, I also want to mention Catherine Marks. Very, very special lady. She was a Spitfire, and again, after she passed away last February, in March, we put a proclamation together for her from the county to recognize all of her accomplishments. And again, I know that we're planning something similar this year as well to honor her and her legacy, because it's the legacy that lives on, the good work she's inspired in so many others. And then to the mayor, I didn't even realize we coordinated very well today with our proclamations. So he gave it about today, the day, but I have a proclamation to present to Xander and the rest of the committee proclaiming February as Black History Month. So I'm going to read my proclamation. Whereas Black History Month, February 2025. Whereas February is designated Black History Month, a time for celebrating and honoring the culture and contributions of Black Americans while recognizing the rich diversity in one of our greatest strengths. The origins of Black History Month date back to 1915, when Dr. Carter Woodson founded the organization known as the Association of the Study of African Life and History. And whereas Black History Month in the U.S. began as a one-week observance in February of 1926. And whereas in 1960, the week was expanded into Black History Month and coincides with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, born on February 14th, and Abraham Lincoln, born on February 12th. And whereas observing Black History Month provides opportunities to celebrate the achievements and contributions of Black Americans and recognize the barriers Black Americans have overcome. And now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that I, Kenosha County Executive, do proclaim February 2025 as Black History Month. Congratulations. And so I have one other special guest. I was at the Kindness Week breakfast celebration, and I was inspired by a young lady when I was serving. So again, I couldn't necessarily watch the whole program, but there was a poem that was read, and I thought to myself in preparation, I needed to reach out to her, and she has agreed to come today and to read her poem. And I'm going to turn it over to Allison.
Kindness is very important. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't care what others thought of him. He fought for what he wanted, but he did because he cared. He cared about everybody. He cared for even those who didn't agree with him. He did what he believed in. Kindness is always a key word in any dictionary you shall look at. Take a second to think about it. What he did for us was amazing. Kindness doesn't grow, it ripples. You probably have seen water ripple after throwing a pebble in the water. A small effort can make a big impact. So larger and larger until one person is exceptionally so kind the body of water will start to shake. That person's name was Martin Luther King Jr. He made the crowd erupt with joy after the grand famous speech. So remember, always be kind. You don't know what somebody is going through.
Wasn't she wonderful?
Okay, so we are going to get to our reading selection. So I'm going to kind of tell you all the method that we're going to do here, okay? So what we're going to do, first of all, I know I've been jumping up and down over there, but we have stairs here, all right? Don't want anyone tripping and falling, okay? All right, so I'm going to be calling in order from the top of the program to come on up. Now, I'm going to get the first name, but if you see your name up here and you're up next, you can mosey on up here right after you get done with your program, okay? That sound good, everybody? All righty. So, I'm gonna need Kiki to come on up over here, okay? Stand up there. Last thing, you'll probably want to put the mic up closer to your mouth, okay? Otherwise, I won't be able to hear you very well. You want to hold it? You want it to be up there. You got it? Perfect.
My People, written by Langston Hughes. The night is beautiful, so the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful, so the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun, beautiful also are the souls of my people. I Too, by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother they send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
I'm Greg Bennett Jr., and this is an original piece called God Talk to Me. God talk to me. In a land where empathy and sympathy is almost obsolete, you deplete the assets of the people who seek your voice. Not by choice of the ones with no voice, but the choices of the leaders. Watching history repeats itself like a rerun of MASH is getting old fast. Seeing humans in prison camps is just showing the world that our country has forgotten how to have class. God, talk to me. I don't want to grow up. Man, if I did, I guess I'd work for Congress. How is the world ran by old people yet don't protect the elders in nursing homes, threaten to take Social Security away when they already receiving their own? God, talk to me. If every school has training on school shootings, doesn't that mean you're training the shooters too? God, talk to me. Why do we live in a land of the entitled democracy with people who act immature but preach to the youth maturity? God, talk to me. Give me the strength and faith of Abraham, because yet I'm still a man, getting tempted in this life where one wrong move, I'll be the sacrifice. God, talk to me. Words like love, patience, and compassion come with no action. Society puts the races in a race, thinking we have to be divided when together we're stronger. When knowledge teaches us there's strength in numbers, but the majority only get together to drink lager. God, talk to me. If the streets are watching, then why ain't no one talking? Teaching the youth how not to shoot and playing the cycle their parents went through. God, talk to me. Show me a world where humanity is at peace and not constantly acting savagely, dropping bombs, forgetting about the children and their moms. Men, we can do better. God, talk to me. I promise to be better, do better, teach better, and warm the coldest hearts in the coldest weathers. And if you have been speaking and I've been too stubborn to listen, I'll do better. So God, talk to me, because I'm listening now.
promise we're coming up and bringing some words. Next up, we've got Tamara Coleman coming up again, but with another special guest, Milani. Why don't you join her up here too?
Hi everyone, my name is Melania Gutlow from Kenosha Montessori School in 4.
We're going to be reading a book called, what's our book called? Dream Big.
Little one.
Okay, and it's by Bashanti Harrison, an African-American author. She's a children's book writer, correct? Right? Okay. All right, you ready? Milani, look at me. You ready? Okay.
Dream big. Can't hear.
They can't hear you. Say real loud like you was doing yesterday when you was yelling. Okay, you ready?
Dream big. Little one.
There's so much you can do. Just look at all the leaders who came before
You. Reach
loud.
for the star.
Like May, Bessie, and Catherine. Mae Jemison went all the way to space. Bessie Coleman flew her airplane high. Katherine Johnson helped send a man to the moon.
Bebo.
Like Josephine, Shirley, and Maya. Josephine Baker was a singer, a dancer, and a spy. Shirley Chisholm ran for president. Maya Angelou used her voice every way she could.
Go. Star.
It's a big one. Go the distance like Wilma, Raven, and Florence. Wilma Rudolph couldn't walk but learned to.
Run.
Raven Wilkinson danced all around the world. Florence Joyner was the fastest woman of all time. Ready? Find your stage like Ella, Nina, Oprah, Gwen, Nichelle. Ella Fitzgerald was the first lady of jazz. Nina Simone had style all of her own. Oprah Winfrey shined her lights on others. Gwen Phil reported the truth. Nichelle Nichols trekked through the stars on TV. Express your what? Creativity, like Alma, Augusto, Octavia, and Julie. Why am I reading? Alma Woodson Thomas painted her whole life and became a star of the 80s. Augusta Savage sculpted toys when she had none. Octavia Butler created magical words. Julia Dash shared untold stories in the movies she made. Wherever,
You go.
whatever,
You do.
what are you going to do?
Bebo.
And
Dream big.
the world is waiting for who?
You.
Do we got Anthony Davis here? Anthony. Ben DeSchmidt. Ooh, hello.
This letter, as I said, was written by James Baldwin to his nephew James, and the occasion was the 100th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. Dear James, I've begun this letter 5 times and torn it up 5 times. I keep seeing your face, which is also the face of your father and my brother. I've known both of you all your lives and have carried your daddy in my arms and on my shoulders, kissed him and spanked him and watched him learn to walk. I don't know if you've known anybody from that far back, if you've loved anybody that long, first as an infant, then as a child, then as a man. You gain a strange perspective on time and human pain and effort. I know what the world has done to my brother and how narrowly he survived it. And I know what's much worse, and this is the crime of which I accuse my country and my countrymen, and for which neither I, nor time, nor history will ever forgive them. That they have destroyed and are destroying hundreds of thousands of lives, and do not know it, and do not want to know it. One can, indeed, one must strive to become tough and philosophical concerning destruction and death. For this is what most of mankind has been best at since we have heard of war. Remember, I said that most of mankind, but it is not permissible that the authors of devastation should also be innocent. It is the innocent which constitutes the crime. Well, you were born, here you came something like 15 years ago. This innocent country set you down in a ghetto in which, in fact, it intended that you should perish. Let me spell out precisely what I mean by that, for the heart of the matter is here and the crux of my dispute with my country. You were born where you were born and faced the future that you faced because you were black and for no other reason. The limits of your ambition were thus expected to be settled. You were born into a society which spelled out with brutal clarity and in as many ways as possible that you were a worthless human being. You were expected to aspire to excellence. You were expected to make peace with mediocrity. Wherever you have turned, James, in your short time on this earth, you have been told where you could go and what you could do and how you could do it, where you could live, who you could marry. Please try to be clear, dear James, through the storm which rages about your youthful head today, about the reality which lies behind the words acceptance and integration. There is no reason for you to try to become like white men, and there is no basis whatever for their impertinent assumption that they must accept you. The really terrible thing, old buddy, is that you must accept them, and I mean that very seriously. You must accept them and accept them with love, for these innocent people have no other hope. They are, in effect, still trapped in a history which they do not understand, and until they understand it, they cannot be released from it. They have had to believe for many years and for innumerable reasons that black men are inferior to white men. Many of them indeed know better, but as you will discover, people find it very difficult to act on what they know. To act is to be committed, and to be committed is to be in danger. In this case, the danger in the minds and hearts of most white Americans is the loss of their identity. Try to imagine how you would feel if you woke up one morning to find the sun shivering and all the stars aflame. You would be frightened because it is out of the order of nature. Any upheaval in the universe is terrifying because it so profoundly attacks one's sense of one's own reality. Well, the black man has functioned in the white man's world as a fixed star, a movable pillar, and as he moves out of his place, heaven and earth are shaken to their foundations. Don't be afraid. I said it was intended that you should perish in the ghetto, perish ever by being allowed to go beyond and behind the white man's definition, by never being allowed to spell your proper name. You have, and many of us have, defeated this intention, and by a terrible law, a terrible paradox, those innocents who believed that your imprisonment made them safe are losing their grasp of reality. But these men are your brothers, your lost younger brothers. And if the word integration means anything, this is what it means. That we, with love, shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality and begin to change it. For this is your home. Do not be driven from it. Great men have done great things here and will again, and we can make America what America must become. It will be hard, James, but you come from sturdy peasant stock, men who dammed rivers, built railroads, and in the teeth of the most terrifying odds, achieved an unassailable and monumental dignity. You come from a great line of poets, some of the greatest poets since Homer. One of them said, "The very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook and my change fell off." You know and I know that the country is celebrating 100 years of freedom, 100 years too early. We cannot be free until they are free. God bless you, James, and Godspeed, Uncle James.
Thank you. Next up, Amy Graham.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm here representing the Kenosha Community Foundation. We're extremely honored to have the opportunity to speak today. I'm also reading a very short passage from James Baldwin, and I have a short poem from a dear friend of mine who passed away a few years ago. But here we are from James Baldwin. And here we are, at the center of the ark, trapped in the gaudiest, the most valuable, and the most improbable water wheel the world has ever seen. Everything now, we must assume, is in our hands. We have no right to assume otherwise. If we, and now I mean the relatively conscious whites and the relatively conscious blacks, who must, like lovers, insist on or create the consciousness of others, do not falter in our duty now. We may be able, handful that we are, to end the racial nightmare and achieve our country and change the history of our world. This next very brief writing is from an individual named Ahmad Landrum, who passed away in 2020. He wanted to write a book about his experience coming out of prison, and I was going to be his editor. This is his passage. He says, "Here's my list of 11 laws to follow to become successful coming out of prison. Law number 1, know the rules to which you are obliged. Law 2, follow those rules, breaking them will set you back. Law 3, make a choice of what you want to do to earn an income. Law 4, write down every step you need to reach your goals that you can think of, even if you don't know at the start what those will be. Law 5, write down the names of the people that you know that you must cut yourself off from. Law 6, learn to ask questions. You are a student of life. Law 7, do not compare yourself to anyone. Every person has their own path. Law 8, find a network of people that is willing to introduce you to others in your goals. Law 9, find at least one organization to volunteer your time to show the community that you belong. Law 10, never stop believing in yourself and your ability to reach your goals. Law 11, be intentional and know what you are doing each day. Respectfully, Ahmad Landrum.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheryl Hernandez. I'm the director of the Kenosha Literacy Council. And the Literacy Council is a school for adults who are learning to read and learning English. So we have some students here with us today. members in the audience today as well. But I'm going to share a little bit from this book, Girls on the Rise by Amanda Gorman. We are like wings, lifting each other up, making each other strong. When a girl rights what's wrong, she brings others along. We might have our own voices, but we're singing the same song. Do you hear it? Our spunk and spirit? We're gutsy, we're gorgeous, gleaming, giving, and gifted, glorious, glitter, and grit. We are girl, glowing and growing, knowing where the wind is blowing. We are where change is going. We all win when one girl tries, when she defies with her rallying cries, tried and true. Because when one girl is on the rise, it means everyone else is too.
Hello, good afternoon, good people. Happy Black History Month. I'm excited to be here today, and I have good news for you. Today is Saturday, February 1st, 2025. Today is a day that has never come before and a day that will never come again. So today is our opportunity and our responsibility to make the most and the best of today. I am an author. I write children's books and I manage an international blog. I'm here from Kenosha, and I would like to share with you some of my writing inspiration from Nikki Giovanni. I will share the poem called Black History Month. If Black History Month is not viable, then wind does not carry the seeds and drop them on fertile ground. Rain does not dampen the land and encourage the seeds to root. Sun does not warm the earth and kiss the seedlings and tell them plain, you're as good as anybody else. You've got a place to be here too. Nikki Giovanni also wrote about her experiences with her mother and her grandmother and her family, as I do. So I was inspired by this poem, Bay Leaves, that I wish to share with you now. I watched Mommy cook, though I cooked with grandmother. With grandmother, I learned to pluck chickens, peel carrots, turn chitlins inside out, scrub pig feet. With Mommy, I watched leftovers for stew or vegetable soup, Great Northern beans, mixed collards, turnips, and mustard greens, garlic clove, bay leaves, very beautifully green, stiff, so fresh, with just a pinch of salt. Not everything together all the time, but all the time, keeping everything. I make my own frontier soup in a crock pot. I make my own ice cream with a pinch of salt, and everything else with garlic. But fresh bay leaves are only for very special oxtails. Thank you.
Right. We're actually going to move to, I believe, forgive my pronunciation here, Rian Simone Marks Walker. She's here.
Woohoo!
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll soon learn. I did not get my grandmother's value, but thank you so much for celebrating the legacy and contributions of my grandmother, Catherine Marks. I am Ryan Simone Marks Walker. Thank you for inviting me to follow in her footsteps by being a reader today. This selection is especially meaningful as both my grandmother, Catherine, and my mother Rashida have recited this piece many times to captivate audiences. Notably, Catherine read this piece during a previous African American reading. I am honored to continue this tradition of sharing this piece, a timeless poem celebrating strength, confidence, and the essence of womanhood. Without a doubt, it resonates the very essence of Catherine Marks. Real quick, before I start, circling back to what Ms. Samantha Kirkman said earlier, last year we did celebrate Catherine Marks Day, March 23rd. This year we will be doing that again at the Civil War Museum. We will be hosting that as the Catherine Marks Legacy Foundation. So as we share more information, feel free to join us over there next month. And thank you. This is Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I am a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellas stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, the flash in my teeth, the swing in my waist, the joy in my feet. I am a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they cannot touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the right of my breast, the grace of my style. I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't have to shout or jump about or even have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care. Because I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me.
All right, Tip, come on up.
Well, good afternoon. I'm State Representative Tip McGuire, and I'm honored to be here, and I'm certainly honored to celebrate the legacy of Catherine Marks. If kindness is a small stone that can create ripples, then Catherine made waves. She's a good friend of mine, a very dear friend of Kenosha's. Today I'm going to read I Dream a World by Langston Hughes. I dream a world where man no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth and every man is free, where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy, like a pearl, tends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream, my world. Thank you.
Peace, peace, peace. How y'all doing? I'm here. My name is Nico Moore, Lucas Moore, son of Rochelle Moore, who would always love to be here. I would ask y'all to please send prayers, love, and healing to her as she's moving through the wretched disease of Alzheimer's. So I send the sharing of these poems to her and Catherine Marks. Oh my goodness. she believed in me at a time where I really didn't know if I believed in myself. She inspired me to do poetry in the park over at Lincoln. She was like, "You're gonna do this. We're gonna do poetry in the park." I'm like, "All right, yeah, sounds good." She's like, "No, we're going." Like, she pushed me, and we did it, and it was beautiful. And I'm going to continue that as poet laureate of Kenosha County. Thank you. That's one of the things I look forward to doing this coming spring, summer. With that. New world. Nothing like my home. I had a family, a belief system, endless land to roam. Now I'm here, lost, confused, and alone. Just moons ago, I was my own man. Now I am owned. Another man's property. Beaten or even hung if I don't conform properly. Why put me in these chains? Why brand me over open flames? Why is it necessary to strip me of my name? Not allowed to stand tall. To them, we are uncivilized animals, and their scriptures justify it all. So much death, it took work just to breathe. Forced to serve, to sacrifice, to believe. How was any of this from God? I could not conceive. I would not achieve the level of fear I would need to survive, so I fought to be free, till I was beaten, hung, and burned alive. But one piece of wisdom was illuminated by the flames. It said it would take generations of work to gain freedom from this mental, physical, and spiritual pain. Keys to the door to freedom. Keys to the door to freedom. I'm a key, you're a key. He's a key, she's a key. We all are keys to freedom. You see, they tried to bury us, but they weren't aware that we were seeds. You see, we grew from rocks in hard places, determined to be freed. We collectively agreed to gain strength from pain and hurt. We will thrive because our existence is work. We work to stay on that land which we were birthed by the sun. We work to survive from that land we were taken from. We work to live how others were allowed to live. We work to vote and have proper education for our kids. We worked and are still working today to regain an understanding of our history that's been burned, lost, and locked away. We must work hard to bring back those that have gone astray because we work too hard for us to end up this way. We work too hard to have our dreams turn into nightmares. We work too hard to be treated equal and fair. Now we must work. Do only the most righteous work for the children to see, because it took work to get freedom for you and me. It's going to take generations of work to stay free, because I'm a key and you're a key. He's a key and she's a key. We all are keys to freedom. That's that piece. I got one more. I come to this event. My mom always made sure that you got to go to the reading. I want you to. If I was out of town, she's like, "I'm gonna read. Can I read this poem that you got to read in?" And it was always, it was always about blackness. And I definitely want to make it first in the Black History Month. I want to share something about blackness, but I want to share a piece that came through me about the humanness, something that we all as humans deal with, experience, communicate with, and that's fear and love. I confront fear often. And one time I was sitting down and fear confronted me back. Fear said, I'm often confused with hate, especially when it comes to violent crimes. I paralyze your body when I take over your mind. To survive, it's love I need to steal. I can make false evidence appear real, make you sacrifice your happiness for illusion of a good deal, make you feel pain. Then forget how to heal, helpless human, hopelessly controlled by me. I give you two choices, at least two choices you can see. As long as you fight or run, you will never be free. They say I'm second to love. Look at this world, I disagree. I know I'm not the voice that you truly want to hear, but you cannot shut me out. I'm your faithful friend, Fear. I will show you things love is way too blind to see. All you have to do is agree to follow me. So I have to breathe out fear often, right? It comes, you have to breathe it out. But love, right? Love is always there, and you have to call it in. So I called in love, and love responded, and love says, don't complicate your mind, you'll find that's not the way. Let intuition be a guide, hear what your spirit has to say. Let joy grow in your heart, let all pain fade away. And when you fear a fall, remember love will conquer all. Know that love will conquer all. Yes, love will conquer all. Remember love will conquer all. 'Cause love's the highest law. And by the way, I am far from blind. In fact, there's nothing I can't see. I transform every being that believes in me. I help you become what you dream to be, the most priceless resource. And I am free. Every living thing would agree it's not money that makes the world go round, it's really me. I am the dirt, the seed, and I become the tree. The process that recycles life. When it's time to die, I am the caterpillar, the cocoon, and the butterfly. To find me, you can look low or you can look high, but most of the time I reside inside. I am the spirit of forever, the setting of the sun, the rising of the tide. My goal is to overcome all fear. Help the living to become more alive. Create below the flow that exists above, the purest of all energy, and I am love. And you are love, and this is love. Don't complicate your mind, you'll find that's not the way. Let intuition be a guide, hear what your spirit has to say. Let joy grow in your heart, let all pain fade away. And when you fear at all, remember love will conquer all.
Well, that's a way to end the first half. So, if you haven't really noticed yet, today we are honoring multiple people today, including James Earl Jones. Now, when I got an email a few months ago that we were honoring James Earl Jones, and what did I know about James Earl Jones? I think I show a little bit of my youth because my response at the time was like, who is James Earl Jones again? And I will tell you, over the last few months, I have gotten to know a little bit more about James Earl Jones that I probably should have already known. But I want to kind of highlight one thing we got here. Our local NAACP have set up a wonderful display outside these doors celebrating James Earl Jones. When you get that chance, take a look at it. The program will be, 3 o'clock at the latest. Take a look and kind of remember. So part of honoring James Earl Jones is that we have some of his works to show off. And so I'm going to get Jason over there to press play. You can either turn your seats, turn your heads. We're going to be playing some of his work on the screen.
A memorable scene by James Earl Jones as a stern father who has struggled to build a life and keep control of his family shows him teaching his son a painful lesson about setting his expectations for affection.
Can I ask you a question? How come you ain't never liked me?
What law is that it say I got to like you?
None.
All right then. Don't you eat every day? answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
As long as you living in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
And clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that is?
Because of you.
Hell, I know it's because of me. Why do you think that is?
Because you like me.
Most potent, grave, and reverend seniors, my very noble and approved good masters, that I have taken away this old man's daughter. It is most true. True, I have married her. The very head in front of my offending, at this extent no more. Rude am I in my speech, and little blessed with the soft phrase of peace. For since these arms of mine had 7 years' pith, they have used their dearest action in the tented field. And little of this great world can I speak, more than pertains to feats of broil and battle. Therefore, little shall I grace my cause in speaking for myself. Yet by your gracious patience, I will a round, unvarnished tale deliver of my whole course of love. What drugs, what charms, what conjuration, and what mighty magic. For such proceeding I am charged with all. I won his daughter. Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life from year to year, the battles, sieges, fortunes I have passed. I ran it through even from my boyish days to the very moment he bade me tell it, wherein I spoke of most disastrous chances, of moving accidents by flood and field.
Ray, people will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it. For it is money they have, and peace they like.
Ray, just sign the papers.
And they'll walk out to the bleachers. And sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines, where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game, and it'll be as if they'd dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick, they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
You're broke, Ray. You sell now or you lose everything.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
Even one of the things as a kid that I regret now as an adult was taking Black History Month for granted. Because too often, we don't get to know about the great figures that are in our history. And this month, as a celebration of that history, of knowing these names, James Earl Jones, Catherine Marks, talk about Nikki Giovanni a bit later. this is that time to really focus in, really remember that our history is here, it's gonna stay here, and history is gonna continue with us. So we're gonna continue the rest of our program now. We've got our next set of readers, gonna start with Joseph Payne. Joseph Payne, are you here? There you are, come on up on the right side of here.
The Truth Is by James Reynolds. The truth is, our dream could be as far away as forever, or as close as lunchtime. Tomorrow you could wake up and read this letter on a billboard, or you could wake up and you forgot who wrote it. It all just depends.
Next up, Sarah Payne. Come on up.
Whatever by Nikki Grimes. Some days I try to hide my new woman body, drape it into 2 sizes too big to keep bug-eyed boys from staring in my direction. Other times I get mad if they don't look. It's worse though, when they act like girls ain't nothing. I wish I didn't care either way. Today Miss Hicks, my teacher, noticed me hanging my head, pulls me aside and tells me, you need to find my girl power. I roll my eyes, certain she's crazy for imagining I got any kind of power in me. I know you don't see it, she says. What you doing, reading my mind? Time you learn a little history. Women in our race has always gone from strength to strength. Let me introduce you to a few women who can teach you what I mean. She hands me 3 books on the Harlem Renaissance. Whatever, I mumble under my breath. But I promise to read them. Why not? I ain't got any and nothing better to do.
Next, Serenity Riley.
Hi, my name is Serenity, and I will be reading Strong Black Woman by Dana Reddick. You're a strong black woman who's had her share of disappointments and pain, but you never let it make you bitter. Instead, you turned it into gain. Through every trial and test, you rise higher to face every test, never staying down. Each challenge only made you better, polishing your crown. You hustle for everything you've got with grit and fierce, pride in every step you take with strength. And grace by your side. In a world that often tries to bend you, you stand unbroken, stand tall, a testament to resilience, the beauty of it all. Your heart holds stories of struggles and also of endless hope in the tapestry of your life. Every thread helps you cope, so here's to you, a woman of immense power and grace in your journey and your triumphs. You inspire and amaze.
Lost my place in the program, but it looks like you got me. Go ahead, go on ahead. I don't even need, you know.
Sarah Rector from Prosperity Wallace. Born to the creek with hardships deep, Sarah's fate was hers to keep. As well, she found the earth's rich gold, a fortune vast, her story gold. The oil beneath her feet did lie, her wealth soared high, and so did size. But greed and doubt came in her wake. She fought for what was hers to take. Through battles won and justice sought, her strength and courage couldn't be bought. A legacy of power, fierce and bright, Sarah Rector, shining light.
And now, we have Tevin Robinson.
Frederick Douglass, a voice of freedom. Born in the chains of a slave land, he rose with courage and took a stand. Frederick Douglass, fierce and wise, a spark of truth and freedom skies. From tight shackles and nights so cold, we learned to read to break the mold. In every book and every word, he found his voice and it was heard. With pen in hand and fire in heart, he tore through the darkness and played his part. An abolitionist fierce and bold, his story must be told. He spoke of rights that all should claim, of liberty and freedom's flame. Against the winds of hate and fear, his voice rang loud and clear. No longer bound by chains of strife, Douglass fought for a better life. For those enslaved and those unseen, he sought the promise of a dream. His words like thunder shook the land, a call for justice, a righteous stand. A man who suffered yet could see the power of hope and dignity. If there is no struggle, there is no progress, he said. Words of fire, they like blood, they bled. Through battles fierce, through nights so long, he knew that pain could make us strong. From slave to sage, from dark to light, Douglas's spirit burned so bright. A legacy of truth and might, in every soul his flame ignites.
All right, Tony Robertson.
Robertson Jr., and I'm going to be reading Shadow of Silence. In the land of the brave, where freedom shall reign, a shadow lingered heavy with pain. In the streets of the past, where echoes still cry, the ghosts of injustice refuse to die. With chains long shattered, yet scars still remain, the color of skin met with hatred and disdain. Through history's pages, stories unfold, as of dreams dashed and futures stolen in soul. In the halls of powerful, with voices are drowned, with the dreams are fearing, deferred, and in silence they're bound. The weight of a legacy, heavy and deep, in the heart of a nation that struggles to sleep. Each day a reminder in whispers and shouts of battles unending and fears of doubts. From the sparks to the classrooms and the struggle persists, in subtle divisions where humanity twists. Yet, through all the darkness, the spirit will rise with courage and strength to challenge the lies. From the streets filled with hope and rallies of peace, a collective resistance that will never cease. With the voices united, they will speak their truth in the faces of the youth. Or claiming of roots, for love is a weapon that cuts through the night. A force that ignites a beacon of light. So let us remember and strive to be fair, to see through the shadows and to stand to care. For strength of a nation is found in its fight against hatred and bigotry, for justice and right. When unity's embrace, the compassion ignite, a journey towards healing, towards shared human life. For the struggle, together we'll stand, with hope in our hearts, hand in hand.
All right, next up, Jada Monet Robinson. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Jada Monet Robinson. It is an honor to be on the committee this year and as well as one of this year's selected readers, and I thank you all for joining us today for the 36th Annual African American Read-In. As an actress myself and someone who is working towards being a published playwright, I wanted to take today and this opportunity to highlight a playwright. I was blessed to come across this individual during my studies in New York City, and today I will be reading a monologue from the play Good Grief, a Best Friends play by Nigerian actress and playwright Ngozi J. This play has won a Citrus Theater Group Humanitas Award and follows the main character N and a story of coming of age, love, adulthood, and grief. Without further ado, this is Good Grief. I think I just make a decision. What if I just stop? I mean, it's been long enough, right? Weird. Time. You need to move and upwards, forwards, not backwards. This is the time for movement. I don't want to forget you, but I want to forget you. I don't want you to fade, but I want you to fade. I want to like erase you. Click, pause, rewind, erase, double, or delete, cut, rip, light on fire, cover with fog, but then the sky gets clear. I look up and fume. It's night. I search for your belt, your bow, Orion, Matthew, half man, half. I don't know what the other half was, so I try to cover you up, but you're everywhere. How are you everywhere and nowhere? Why do I see you in every smile? Why do I feel you in every kiss? How do you do that? Or is it me? Did I conjure you? I can't remember. You there? Where'd you go? Cut to a girl who misses her companion. She makes the bed. She brings the night. She plucks the stars. She rides the moon and waits for him. Just one more time. Thank you all.
Next up, Layla Robinson.
Hello, my name is Layla Robinson. Thank you for having me as one of the readers selected. Today I will be reading two short poems from Nikki Giovanni's I Am Love poetry collection. I chose Nikki Giovanni because I love coming across her poems and I love the unique artwork for this poetry collection. I will read No Heaven and follow up with I Am a Mirror, which I love as an actual mirror on the page. No heaven. How can there be no heaven? When rain falls gently on the grass, when sunshine scampers across my toes, when corn bakes into bread, when wheat melts into cake, when shadow cools and owl call, and little finches eat upside down. How can there be no heaven when tears comfort, when dreams caress, when you smile at me? I am a mirror. I am a mirror. I reflect the grace of my mother, the tenacity of my grandmother, the patience of my grandfather, the sweat of my great-grandmother, the hope of my great-grandfather, the songs of my ancestors, the prayers of those on the auction block, the bravery of those in the Middle Passage. I reflect the strength of my people, and for that alone, I am loved.
Next up, Raven Robinson.
Can you guys hear me at all? Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Raven Robinson, and I'm very excited to be here today. Today, I will be reading Life Doesn't Frighten Me, a poem by Maya Angelou and illustrated by Jean-Michel Basquiat. I chose this because I am an aspiring artist, and the accompany between the two artists is a poet by Maya Angelou and illustrations by Basquiat, and they've really inspired me. Life doesn't frighten me. Shadows on the wall, noises down the hall. Life doesn't frighten me at all. dogs barking loud. Big ghosts in a cloud. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Mean old Mother Goose, lions on the loose, they don't frighten me at all. Dragons breathing flame on my counterpane, that doesn't frighten me at all. I go boom, make them chew. I make fun, the way they run. I won't cry, so they fly. I just smile, they go wild. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Tough guys fight all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark. No, they don't frighten me at all. That new classroom wear, boys all pull my hair. Kissy little girls with their hair in curls. They don't frighten me at all. Don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream. If I'm afraid at all, it's only in my dreams. I've got a magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk the ocean floor and never have to come up to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Not at all. Not at all. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Thank you.
We're actually going to go to Cameron Swallow next. Cameron.
Hey everybody. I have a poem by Phyllis Wheatley, the first published African American author, and technically, I don't know that you can call her an African American author because America wasn't America yet when she was seized, kidnapped, abducted into slavery at the age of 7, and she died of pneumonia at the age of 31 when the Revolutionary War was still, the Constitutional Convention hadn't happened yet. So, was she African American? I don't know, but she was a published poet, and she was inspired by the poets of the 18th century, so, she uses that archaic language. But she was a published poet, having come from slavery from the age of 7. And she's writing about imagination, which I think is good for all of us, anywhere, everywhere, anytime. This is what she says about imagination. Imagination, who can sing thy force? Or who describe the swiftness of thy course? Soaring through air to find the bright abode, the empty real palace of the thundering God. We, on thy pinions, can surpass the wind and leave that rolling universe behind. From star to star, the mental optics rove, measure the skies and range the realms above. There, in one view, we grasp the mighty whole, or with new worlds, amaze the unbounded soul.
Next up, we've got Ronald Tatum. Come on up.
Good afternoon. Oh, that was weak. Good afternoon. This is an exciting time to be here. This is the start of Black History Month. So good afternoon, everybody. As you shared, I'm Ron Tatum. I'm the Executive Director of Kenosha Area Family Aging Services Incorporated, also known to many in the room as Kafasi. And so I wrote something about a week ago. Did my own excerpt, my own poem last year. I wrote this one as well. And I want the little ones in the room to really pay attention because you'll be carrying this forward. And it's called Abbreviations. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, today I stand before you with a thought, an awakening really, about the words we use and the meaning of sometimes diminish in the language of our lives. Or words we use and the meaning we sometimes diminish in the language of our lives. I want to talk about the power and the peril of abbreviations. In a world that moves fast, we often choose shortcuts. We abbreviate, we condense, we simplify. But in doing so, we may erase, we may overlook, we may strip away the very essence of what we stand for. Consider Martin Luther King Jr., a man whose dream was larger than life, whose words changed the world. Yet, how often do we reduce them to the initials MLK? Think about that for a moment. The same man who faced the threat of death every day, who led marches through hatred and violence, who spoke truth to power. He was more than an acronym. He was a force, a living testament to the struggle for freedom and equality. And in abbreviating his name, do we minimize the sacrifices that come with it? Do we forget the depth of his message? Do we erase the very spirit of his fight for justice? Let's think of Rosa Parks for a moment, whose simple act of defiance sparked a revolution. Too often, her name is reduced to a few words, a symbol, a moment, but she was so much more. She was a woman of strength, courage, and dignity who carried the weight of generations in her heart. She wasn't just a name in a history, she was a hero, a mother, a warrior. Rosa Parks should never be reduced to a soundbite. And what of Malcolm X? A name that carries power, transformation, and radical change. Malcolm X is often shortened to an initial, an idea, a symbol. But his journey from a life of struggle to a life of purpose was far more complicated than any letter or can encapsulate. His X was not just a symbol of his surname. It was a symbol of his search for identity, for justice, for truth in a world that tried to silence his voice. Malcolm X was more than a letter. He was a man who changed the way we see ourselves and our place in the world. Let's also reflect on those abolitionist people, meaning movement and figures like Frederick Douglass, who advocated for the end of slavery, whose name is synonymous with the fight for freedom. Douglass' words, bold, right, unapologetic, should never be reduced to an abbreviation. His life is a testament to the resilience of a human spirit that cannot be confined in a few letters. He fought for the liberation of not just black people, but for all humanity. Even in our own time, we see the same pattern. We abbreviate. We sometimes forget the full weight of what's at stake. When we hear Xmas, instead of Christmas, we aren't just shortening the word, we are in some ways distancing ourselves from the profound spiritual significance of Christ and Christmas that has meant so much to African American history. We are removing, simplifying, reducing things we carry our faith, hope, and strength on. And let's talk about the modern day slogans we hear. We're asked to align ourselves with messages that don't represent our struggle, our history, or our dreams. Slogans like MAGA or MAGA, M-A-G-A. You guys know what it is. For example, I'm designated to simplify complex ideas. But in simplifying, they erase the progress we fought for, the progress that comes from a legacy of a resistance, resilience, and a call for justice. So I stand here today asking us all to reconsider how we use our words. Abbreviations are easy. They are convenient, but we must ask ourselves, what are we losing when we take shortcuts? What are we forgetting in the process? The names of our black leaders, our black heroes, our black ancestors deserve more than an abbreviation. They deserve to be heard. The stories deserve to be told in their entirety. When we say MLK, we should remember Martin Luther King Jr., the man who marched, who preached, who laid down his life for a dream of equality. When we say Rosa Parks, let us not forget the dignity of her refusal to move, the power of her quiet protests. When we speak of Malcolm X, let us remember the depth of his transformation, his voice that echoed with truth and urgency. And when we say Christmas, let us remember Christ is the reason, the season, the faith that guides and leads us. I choose not to abbreviate, not because I'm against convenience, because I want to preserve the integrity of what these names, these moments, and these values represent. Our history, our faith, our fight deserve more than a shorthand. They deserve to be seen, heard, and respected in full. We owe it to ourselves and to those who fought so hard to remember the full weight of their names. We owe it to their legacies to speak their truth as it was meant to be heard. Let us not reduce our black history, our black heroes, our faith to mere symbols. Let us honor them in all their fullness as they honor us with their sacrifice, courage, and love. Thank you.
All right, Senator Wirch.
My hobby is reading American history. With all due respects to the Civil War Museum, I read from 1875 to the present. And it gives me hope at times, and even now, when we have strange and cruel policies coming out of Washington, D.C. So, it helps me to go back and read my hero, John Lewis. For the younger people in the audience, let me tell you about John Lewis. He was a Christian, he believed in nonviolence, and he went down south to change the country. He went down south to get rid of segregation. He was arrested 45 times. He was beaten many times, had his skull fractured, almost killed by the Edmund Pettus Bridge. But I would suggest that his words can help us today when we have difficult times. From John Lewis, I came of age in a segregated America. The message of the civil rights movement was straightforward, and it was a message grounded in hope. We are one people. We are one family. We all live in the same house, the American house, the world house. As Martin Luther King Jr. taught us, whenever and wherever we saw injustice, we had a moral obligation to say something, to do something, to speak up and speak out. We might get arrested. We might be thrown in jail. We might be beaten. We might be left bloody, or we might be left for dead, but we couldn't stop. It became a way of life for many young people. The first time I got arrested demonstrating, it was in Nashville, Tennessee, 60 years ago, for speaking up and speaking out against segregation and racial discrimination. I felt free. I felt liberated. I felt as if I had crossed over. It made me stronger and a better person. And eventually, because of the civil rights movement, America became stronger and better. We must now rededicate ourselves to the ideas and the actions that accomplished so much good when I was a young man, when the students of the American South helped lead the way, when justice was denied and too many dreams were deferred. We won the battles of the 1960s, but the war for justice, the war to make America both great and good, goes on. We, the people, are not a united people right now. We rarely are, but our divisions and our tribalism are especially acute. Many Americans have lost faith in the idea that what binds us together is more important than what separates us. Now as before, we have to choose, as Dr. King once put it, between community and chaos. We chose community once in the 1960s, and I believe we can choose community once more. While our problems may seem less clear-cut than the segregated signs of Jim Crow and the obstructionism of voting registrars, the means by which America redeemed part of her soul then can guide us now. When you see something you believe is unfair or unjust, you have to say so. Silence is not the answer. So much of what makes America truly great is hanging in the balance. Our openness to immigration, our treatment of the poor, our protection of a free and fair right to vote, our care of the climate, our expansion of economic opportunity, our attitude towards our political foes. Fear is abroad in the land, and we must gather the forces of hope and march once more. The spirit of Dr. King lives with us. The civil rights movement brought about a nonviolent revolution, a revolution in values, a revolution in ideas. The sole force of this movement enabled America to find its moral compass. I have long preached that our nation's moral compass comes from God. It is of God. It is seen through God. And God so loved the world that he gave us the countless men and women who lost their homes and their jobs for the right to vote. God gave us the children of freedom who lost their lives in a bombing in Birmingham, and the 3 young men who were killed in Mississippi. But above all else, God gave us courage, the power to believe that what I call the spirit of history behind us is stronger than the terror of hatred in front of us. That is what I believed then. It is what I believe now. The words of John Lewis, let us make good trouble.
we go and move on, I just want to thank all of our readers for today. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for being readers. A few years back, not very long ago, we had to do this read-in virtually, and that's when we had brought in Dr. Cummings to do a meditation with us virtually, and I'm so happy that she's here to do it still, years later, to help us meditate and rebalance ourselves. So I'd like to bring up Dr. Monica L. Cummings to lead us in a meditation.
Hi, family. Happy Black History Month. And wellness is something we all need. Howard Thurman was known as the pastor to pastors during the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. Thurman is the person that helped to keep the movement grounded and centered in faith. And I think wellness is something that we all need. I am the Reverend Dr. Monica L. Cummings. I am the president for CUSH, Congregations United to Serve Humanity, and I'm also the community minister for Bradford Community Church. And with everything that's happening in our city, in our state, our country, and countries around the world, it's easy to slip into despair. It is easy to feel discouraged and disconnected. It is easy to live in fear from the known and the unknown. And if you say hi to me or ask me how I'm doing, I'll say I'm grateful. I may not be feeling happy. I may not be feeling joy. I may be angry. There may be a lot going on, but I hold on to gratitude. I served in the Peace Corps in South Africa, and for 2 years of my service, I lived in a room like 10 feet by 10 feet. I did not have running water. I didn't have a flush toilet. I had to use an outhouse pit. I had to go outside of my room to get water. I had to heat water to bathe in a little bucket. I learned to be grateful. When I came back to the States, I was overwhelmed going into a grocery store by all that we had. I mean, I literally just stood there with my mouth open trying to figure out what toothpaste to buy. You know, just simple items. Having a refrigerator, having hot water, having air conditioning in the summer, having heat in the winter, having something different to eat for 3 different meals, where the people I lived with in South Africa ate a variation of the same thing for every meal. And I say that to say, with everything that's going on, you may not feel love. Some people are hard to love, straight up. Right? Hope may be hard to find, but there's always something to be grateful for. I invite you to join me in a meditation on gratitude. Get centered and settled on your chair. Let your body settle and center, let yourself ground in this space. And bring your awareness to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose if possible. Just note the rhythm of your breath. As you inhale and exhale, notice how your body moves with each breath. If you want, place your hands on your stomach. And as you inhale and exhale, notice what's happening with your stomach. As you inhale, let your stomach rise. As you exhale, let it fall. Inhale, let your stomach rise. Exhale, let it fall. And that's called belly breathing.
I encourage you, anytime you feel stressed, overwhelmed, belly breathe. And notice what happens with your body. And notice what happens with your breath when you belly breathe. Continue to focus on your breathing. And while you do so, I want you to think about something you're grateful for. What is one thing in which you're grateful for? And as you think about being grateful and gratitude, note where in your body you feel gratitude. Where in your body do you feel it? And notice how it feels when you think about being grateful. And I want you to move beyond the thinking and get into the feeling of gratitude. And notice how that feels in your body. Notice how it impacts your breath and your thoughts as you breathe in gratitude and breathe out gratitude. Take a few more breath cycles, embodying gratitude and its feeling in your body. And on your next inhalation, let go. Return your attention back to your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose if possible. And when you're ready, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And if your eyes are closed, slowly open your eyes, coming back to an alert state of mind and body. And I invite you, when you feel despair, when you're feeling discouraged and disconnected, when you feel fearful, remember what you're grateful for. Remember how the feeling of being grateful feels in your body. Feel the wholeness of life and the complexities of life. You can hold fear and gratitude at the same time. You can hold uncertainty and gratitude at the same time. You can hold so many things at the same time. Just remember that. Just remember that. And I am grateful you're here. And I'm grateful to be here with you. Thank you for sharing a very short practice of meditation with me this afternoon. I wish you all love and peace. And until we meet again, be well, be helpful, and be grateful.
What a great day. You know, I really appreciate this year's, especially this year's meditation. Dr. Cummings always does a great job. I want to talk a little bit about our third individual that we're honoring today, Nikki Giovanni. And about our own history for Black History Month, because Nikki Giovanni's a writer. I've read her works throughout basically all of my life. And even then, even the little information that we've put together on this pamphlet, I learned some things that are new. I didn't know that she was a single mother, that one day she had kind of decided she wants to have a child, and had a child, and raised that child while working by herself. I didn't know that when she died, she left behind her wife. There are parts of our history that we don't know until we really look for it, until sometimes someone puts it in front of you, even if you thought we were familiar with them for the rest of our lives. So when I was reading that, I was just kind of overjoyed. There's still so much more to learn. And finding joy has not been something that's been really easy for me in the last month or so. And I found myself smiling, even with friends in the last few days. I was laughing so hard I couldn't stop. And something that I learned in this instance is that joy is a magic that we create. No one can take that from you. So I want everyone here to create your own magic, however you can. Whether it's reading. As a kid, I got lost in books all the time. Writing. We have so many writers here today. Speaking. Calling a friend. Hugging a neighbor. Your joy belongs to you. Your history belongs to you. History is always going to remember us. We'll always be here. I want to say, it's a happy Black History Month. Don't let anyone take away that it's a happy Black History Month. Thank you for being here. You all have a nice rest of your Saturday afternoon.